the mental health prayer group that we have, which is it helped me like connect with people like Christian journalists, and then it helped the podcasters. I met you through there, and so I'm meeting people that do podcasts, and I was like, oh, cool. There's so many Black journalists out here. Like I'm not the only one. Like they're out there. Like I knew they were out there, but actually being able to talk to them, talk to you, talk to Renee, just talk to anybody that loves what I do, you know. And it was like a mind blowing thing, eye opener, because I'm like, wow. And, like it's so important because it makes you feel like you're not alone. You build relationships, you build, network, you can connect with people that, could possibly give you a job, or, just connect with people that give you a different mind, like a perspective of, what you thought about sports or what you thought about news.
Being Black in America this year has had a lot of its challenges. We've seen the likes of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd become household names. And it's for things that they didn't do, things they didn't ask for, simply losing their lives because officers want to be straight up racist. And these officers have yet to be held accountable for it. Well, because of that, we as Black journalists and just Black media group as a whole have all formed a close bond. Today's guest is somebody I've recently connected with, and that's the one, the only Miss Keisha Swafford. Keisha hosts a podcast on YouTube called Ballin with Keisha. In addition, she's also a mental health advocate and a fitness advocate. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for today's episode. As full transparency, this is the first time we actually got the chance to talk verbally and hold a full-fledged conversation as I get to learn more about her, and you will too. Ladies and gentlemen, Keisha Swafford. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I have someone that I've recently connected with through this great thing called social media, and also a group called Journalists on the Rise. Shout out to my sister Renee Washington for creating that wonderful group. And on the line today is my new friend, Miss Keisha Swafford. Keisha, what's going on?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing awesome. So happy I'm here.
How you feeling today? I know with everything going on, this is this will air the first week of September, but just we still in the midst of the pandemic. How you coping with everything?
Man, it's been a whirlwind of just craziness. Like I never would have expected for a year ago that we would be here. Like everyone's wearing a mask. We can't be close to each other. We got to social distance, and I never even heard of social distancing. It's like that's just a new term that we've come to accustomed to now. And I work at the airport, and people or there's not a lot of people flying anymore. And it's kind of like it's really weird. It's a weird time right now, and there's a lot of stuff going on. The Black Lives Matter movement, and just adding on to COVID. It's sometimes it's too much, but it's also a great opportunity, to get our voices out there, because it's just because we're quarantined doesn't mean that we should stop our lives. We should stop our dreams, our visions, our passions. That's even giving me more fuel, more fire to my passion, because I have nothing else to do, so I'm definitely going to have to I can focus more on what I want to do, and especially as a journalist.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that you talked about that, is keeping your passion, using that to fuel, using this time to really reset and get going again. Let's talk about how you got into the business. You graduated from Louisiana State University of Alexandria with a
Right.
bachelor's in mass communications. When did you know that you wanted to study communications?
Well, it started off when I was 16, 17. I was in high school and I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to be an author because I've always loved writing. Ever since I was 5, I would just write on anything. I didn't play with dolls, you know. I just wrote a lot. Wrote in journals. I have books and books of journals, and I just knew that I love writing. And I didn't really have the confidence in myself to say like I'm going to be an author. I'm going to write books and, I'm going to be a best-selling author and stuff. Like I didn't have the confidence in my writing to pursue that wholeheartedly. So I was like, I need a plan B. So I decided to join a publications class, just to try it out, see if I liked it. And I fell in love with, interviewing people, connecting with people, and just writing about, it was mostly about sports. I did sports a lot. um and I loved playing basketball when I was in high school, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm combining sports, which I love, and then I'm combining writing, which I love, and it's two combination. I'm like, okay, journalism is something I could do, and I feel like I could actually make a future with. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to be a journalist now. And I went into mass communications, but I didn't really understand, like I should have, taken more, I guess more on hands-on experience, like with classes. Like I did have like media classes, which did help because we did do articles and stuff, but I really needed to like, I didn't know that I needed to like go into newsrooms because I did internships at newsrooms, but it was towards the end of my college career. And so I just like, I was trying to figure out exactly what I wanted in particular, and it was just hard to figure that out. And I had a lot of emotional problems, like I went to counseling, and I had to really mature emotionally, because this is a business where it's competitive, it's mentally taxing, it's your emotions are being challenged every day, and you have to be mentally strong in order to do journalism. And because there's people that will doubt you, they will tell you can't do it. And so I was like, not at that point when I was in college. I was very sensitive. I still am sensitive now, but I'm stronger now than I was back then. So now I know what I want. I know that I want to be a journalist, either sports or news. And I just want to, just get stories out there that are compelling, that are entertaining, that people enjoy and that can make them feel good. And that's what I want as an author, I wanted to do. So that's what I want to do in journalism.
I really admire you saying that. You said, you talked about being sensitive, and I think that's something that we all have done. But you know, especially in this field, there comes a time where you have to snap out of it because you're putting your work out there. You're putting literally your work out there for millions of people to see, and it can be criticized. When did you build the confidence to do that and be able to accept the criticism in light of having the previous sensitivities?
Whew, that's a good question. Well, I decided, I say about 2 years ago, I was going through a lot. Like I just had a recent breakup probably a year ago, and I was still dealing with that. And then I got fired from my job at Hertz. Long story. But I was trying to find a job, was unemployed, and I was like, okay, I need to get back to what I love, which is writing, which is journalism, because I felt like I was not going in the direction I wanted to go, because I've been in sales for so long. And I still did journalism, like sports journalism on the side on the weekends, but it wasn't the same. So I decided that, as I was looking for a job and, struggling with that, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for what I want. I'm tired of, trying to be, what other people want me to be, basically. And, I just want to focus on what I love, what I'm passionate about. And so I decided, at first I did like NaNoWriMo in November of 2018, and I wrote 50,000 words in a month. And when I just basically finished my book, and once I got to that point, like, oh wow, like I can actually did this. Like I worked like every space and like free time I had, I was just, work on my book, just work on just getting prompts. Like they have live stuff that, I was connecting with other writers and authors. Like, okay, I'm not alone in this, because as a writer, you feel like you're in an island, and like you are isolated, and you feel like, oh man, I'm just the only one here loving stories, loving fiction, loving fantasy. So I helped to have a community, because I realized so much is like community is important, because you don't want to be alone. You are at the core of yourself. You want to connect with people, and I wasn't really good at connecting with people. So I know, like, I could do it on a professional level, but in a personal level, I wasn't good at that. So it helped me, like, strengthen myself as a writer, but also strengthen myself as a person. And so finally I was like, okay, I got that little confidence boost, so I was like, okay, I can write a book, because a lot of people can't write a book. It's hard. So
Mhm.
I finished the book. So now I can, be a journalist. I was like, okay, I have this confidence. Okay, I can do this. So like in 2019, I started like being more active in, going to different events, going to sports events, stuff like that. And I just, slowly started, just getting out there and just getting my face out there. And in 2020, by that time, I had gained enough confidence to start my YouTube channel. I say about December 2019, and I had gone through a lot. Then 2019 was like a really taxing year for me, because my grandma was sick. She went down in her health, like, seriously, and she had dementia, and we had to, take care of her. Me and my mom was taking care of her, and it was very emotionally, um, it was very emotional. Like, my mom was stressed out a lot, and I was stressed out. So, once that, my grandma was put in, not into a home, but she's in Georgia now, and so she's getting taken care of by my aunts. And so, long story short, I decided to do a YouTube channel called Ballin with Keisha, and in 2019 of December, and from then on, I was like totally go like fired up. I did go to a church, like, for New Year's Eve, New Year's, before, it's always, I do night watch, go to night watch every New Year's Eve. But it, for some reason, of course, God knows what you want, and it was all about vision. That was the topic for night watch, and I was like, wow, like, I was so fired up, man. I was like,
Yeah.
out to YouTube channel now, you know. So, that's what I started to do, and I love it. Like, I just put my content out there. I just basically started rapping. When my first video was just rapping about Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints. Like, that was my first. So I was like, I was in a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and I was outside. Just had a little New Orleans sweatshirt my dad had, and has. So I just started doing it, and just put myself out there, and now I just love it. I love putting content out there, for people to enjoy, and people are giving me feedback, and it's just amazing. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank God for that.
That's awesome. I've watched a few episodes of Ballin with Keisha. What's been your favorite thing about producing this content?
My favorite thing. I think that just being free, my creative freedom. I don't have to do what other people want me to do. I can be creative, be spontaneous. I can interview the people I want. I love being independent, and I don't mind working for people, but it's just something about doing your own works, your own passion, your own content that makes you feel good about yourself, and I love just helping people, because I'm getting like stuff about mental health. I recently did with the brain trainer. Follow her on YouTube. And just she talked about mental health, and I really struggle with mental health. I've been struggling with mental health for since I was 16, and I feel like it's an important issue. As a black woman, as a black man, like in the black community, there's a stigma that mental health. You got to be tough. You got to be like no emotion, basically, especially men. And that's why I wrote my book. It's based on emotion, based on like I was saying that emotions equals power, superpower. Like you can have emotions, and that's why I made him a guy, a black teenager. Because I wanted to break that stigma. Like this is, emotions are what. It's not a bad thing. It's what God gave us to be sensitive to each other, to relate to each other, and to relate to Him. More importantly, as a sense, it's like a sensitive antenna to who we are. And so we shouldn't shut those emotions down. We shouldn't block them out. You should just be, open with your emotions, and because it's not healthy, to stop yourself. It's basically you're blocking yourself from feeling, and that is not healthy at all. So I thought for a long time that I should block my emotions. I should, because I'm too sensitive, and like I'm too emotional, and I've been, people, my closest family would tell me that, and I didn't understand that. It's part of who I am, but it's you don't let it control you. But you just got to manage it in a healthy way. you know and so that's what I've learned to do, in my 10 years that I was with diagnosed. I was diagnosed with depression. So so I still deal with the effects of depression, but I don't let it like take over my life.
Now, when you say like diagnosis, is that something you can overcome, or is it something that, as I look to learn more about this, you being a perfect person to explain, is that something you overcome, or is it something that's just it's there, you just have to learn how to cope with it?
Well, I say both. um you can overcome depression because depression is a mindset. I'm Christian, so
Me
I believe
too.
that God can take that depression off of you. It's like a negative thinking, stinking thinking, as my pastor says. And you can like it can be completely removed. I feel like I have, God has healed me from depression, like the depression to where I felt like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I didn't want to do life. I didn't want to function. That's what I think that God has delivered me from. And so now I can just manage it. I can be function in society. I can be happy. I can be joyful. I can talk to people. Connect with others. I can make friends, because a long time it took me a long time to be friends with people, because I didn't trust them, and I didn't want to get hurt because I was easily hurt. So now I'm talking to more people now. And especially with my business, my health and wellness business, like I'm talking to people now, like I'm connecting with people I never would have thought I would be connected with. And I just motivate people, just be healthy, and to just love themselves, and to transform their bodies and transform what they think that they should look like. And it's a mindset. It's not just physical. It's a mindset. It's an emotional mindset. Once you get that positive mindset into your head, then you can do anything you want to do. So I feel like you can overcome it, and you can manage it. It's both. It just depends on, what you believe in, and what kind of mindset you have.
Cool. So you talked about connecting and making connections, and I want you to just talk about the importance of that because, like I mentioned at the top of the show, we were connected through group chats through Journalists on the Rise and National Association of Black Journalism. How would you say that's helped you in your career, especially with Ballin with Keisha and your brand? How would you say is building these connections with fellow journalists? You talked about it with authors, but how about fellow journalists?
Oh yeah. I love that I met Renee. She is so amazing.
She all right. Say she's awesome.
Renee Washington, she is like the best. Like she introduced me to these groups, the mental health prayer group that we have, which is it helped me like connect with people like Christian journalists. And then it helped, the podcasters. I met you through there. And so I'm meeting people that do podcasts, and I was like, oh, cool, there's so many black journalists out here, like I'm not the only one, like they're out there, like I knew they were out there, but actually being able to talk to them, talk to you, talk to Renee, just talk to anybody that loves what I do, you know. And it was like a mind blowing thing, eye opener, because I'm like, wow, and, like it's so important because it makes you feel like you're not alone. You build relationships, you build, network, you can connect with people that, could possibly give you a job, or, just connect with people that give you a different mind, like a perspective of, what you thought about sports or what you thought about news, because there's different ways that you can tell a story, and you just have to be open to that. And I just feel like every time I look on Twitter and I'm seeing different stuff, and I'm like, whoa, like, okay, I didn't know you about some things, or I didn't think of it that way, to turn the story, you can just, it's so awesome, and makes me feel empowered, just to feel like, oh man, I can do this, I mean, I'm in the journey, to, because I don't have a broadcasting job yet, and I'm still, I do my YouTube channel, but sometimes it feels kind of discouraging, because I'm like, man, I've been working so hard for so many years, and I'm not where I want to be yet. But then, you know what? You don't really, I don't think like that anymore, because it makes you depressed. But also, it just, you have to be present in the moment. You have to be, just be grateful that God gave you life and God is giving you these passions, these gifts, to write, for me to write, for me to, talk to people and connect with people. And, he's been with me this whole time, in my lowest times and my highest moments. And, just, I feel like, being around other people that love what I do makes me more encouraged to keep going, to keep growing, to keep learning, and just to just be, just to talk to people. So because sometimes you feel like, oh man, I just don't know what to do, and just give you some tips, because Renee gives me tips about stuff that I'm struggling with on camera. And it makes me feel like, okay, I actually have friends, or people that actually support what I do and wants to help me, and that's motivating. So I just love being part of a community, especially with journalists.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I tell everybody it's great. We in this. We all we got. Um, you see, other communities are so quick to support each other, and as Black people, we need to be quick to do the same. And and one thing I will say is during this pandemic, we have been receiving some support from a lot of white allies, in our content, not only just with everything that's going on, but with our content as well. But in these situations, you just can't be alone. At the end of the day, you can't feel, nobody should have to go through this journey alone called life, but especially as we try to make it in our careers.
I agree wholeheartedly about that. Because if you are, like, I'm reading a book. Well, I had a book club, or I was a part of a book club about relationship goals, and by Michael Todd, and he was saying that when you isolate yourself, and people, that the enemy will attack you, even more, because you're by yourself. You're not talking to anybody. You're basically, trying to battle everything on your own. And that's when the enemy comes like, attack, 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 because he's like, yo, you're not going to win because you don't have anybody else. It's in the Bible. It says, with two people, you can stand tall. You can fight the enemy. You're better off with, being with other people. And so I feel that's very important, to go out there and reach out to people. And if you need help, just don't do it by yourself. Like, just talk to somebody. And I suicide is high, probably more than ever. And I don't want anybody to cut their life short, before their time, because they feel like they're alone. you know just go out, just talk to somebody. And that's what I did. I decided, well, my mom helped me just to decide, because my mom knew like I wasn't being myself, when I was 16, and I was depressed. And so she said, you want to go get therapy? And I was like, I guess. you know and but it did help me, like, break out of my shell. And I started, drawing and painting. Like, I found healthier outlets, to deal with my emotions. And I always had writing, but also I was able to draw from, other passions, like painting, writing, singing, therapy, like music therapy. So that's what I think, that, just don't do it alone.
Mhm. Before we get out of here, I always gotta ask this question: what was the moment that you broke through the glass ceiling in your career? Whether it was, writing, producing YouTube content, or even just in with your mental health. What was the moment you broke through?
Wow, you are good. Oh, well, that is awesome. Okay, you're good. You're a good interviewer. I love it.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you.
you're welcome. Um, yeah, like, broke the ceiling. All right. I think that it was when I say when I started my YouTube channel, because I was able to get comfortable in front of the camera, and get comfortable being myself in front of the camera, and sharing who I am in front of people. And just doing stuff that I love and that I'm passionate about, and I can share with other people, because I think it's important to do that. Don't be alone in what you love. I think it helps to motivate you. It helps to inspire you. And when you are inspiring others, because I'm getting comments and feedback from it, and people are saying, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, I love what you're doing. And it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel like, man, people are actually caring about what I do. People are actually, like, just loving what I do. And it's so rewarding. And I feel like it makes me want to do more. So I think that that's when I broke the glass ceiling, is when I started my YouTube channel. And I realized that, people want to have content that's entertaining and enjoyable, and that promotes Black people, and the positive side of who we are. It's so negative, with the news, and you know um, just so much negativity out there, that they promote us as Black people. And I think we should definitely get content out there that's positive, and a positive sheds a positive light on Black people.
Absolutely. So before we go, let the people know where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on YouTube, of course. Ballin with Keisha is Ballin with Keisha, Keisha. And just Instagram, Ballin with Keisha 28, and Twitter, Keisha underscore writer 24. And just follow me on all those social media channels. I can't think of anything else.
All right, Keisha, I definitely appreciate you taking the time. Make sure you folks, make sure you follow her, subscribe to her channel, help her get those subscribers up, share the content. I promise you it is definitely worth the watch. She's very creative and entertaining, and it's a lot of great information on there. I'm definitely a subscriber, so I'm speaking to what I know. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love it. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was my interview with Miss Keisha Swafford. I hope you enjoyed that. She's definitely someone you need to connect with if you're looking to strengthen your mental health, and also check out her show, Ballin with Keisha. Next week, I take a step outside of the media world. I bring on a good friend whom I've known for a very long time, my friend Patricia Barnes, the owner of the Go Patty brand, a motivational brand. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that episode, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're connected with the podcast. Season 2 up and running. Like I said, we hitting the ground running, not just traditional episodes, but also subscribe so that you'll get more beyond breaking through the glass ceilings. You'll also get some of the other shows as well. So folks, remember, do not let anybody step in your way and set up a ceiling that you can't break through. This podcast was recorded and edited by B Waters Productions. The music by Hypno Beats. Make sure you follow him at Hypno_Beats with a Z on Instagram.